Today, I'm going to show you how to get the best minions for new players. Welcome back to another Bit Legends video. Today we are looking at monsters, and I'm going to show you the best way to start out. So in the first dungeon, what I love about this interface so much is this shows you where to get what you gotta get. But in the first dungeon you will find Geek. So over here you need Knife Zombie from Zone 1 Dungeon 4, and I will show you exactly what that is. And you also need Corpse King, also from the same dungeon, so you can farm that. Now the way that the blueprints, the little recipe that you need to get this guy, the way it drops is you need to capture one of these guys, not both, but one of these guys before the blueprint or the recipe will drop that will allow you to make this guy. And since I have both right here, I got no problem wasting a Corpse King just to show you what fusing it together looks like. Bada bing, bada boom. You go over here into the design diagram laboratory, and there you go, you get your guy. So you can get him in the first dungeon. He will start you out. This guy can tank for you. I used him all the way up until like zone 3, and then I switched over to Iron Golem. I'll show him a little bit later, but this guy can get it done. You don't have to stable it. I was just kind of messing around with the Devour system, and you can definitely get to what the current end game is, which is zone 9, zone 10, without worrying about stabling too much if you don't want to. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this guy's good, 30% block. He's got a healthy amount of stamina. He's got a 2 SP attack where he will damage a random enemy, and then he will convert the damage into health, so he can sustain himself pretty good. Some people don't like the speed on him, so if you don't like this guy, your other option is, we're gonna click on Fusion, and not Iron Bat, Yaksha. So Yaksha, I actually haven't made this guy, but you can catch him in Zone 1, Dungeon 8, and Zone 2, Dungeon 8. So the good thing about Geek is you can get him all from the very first dungeon. If you go a little bit further and you get into Zone 2, halfway through, you can get the Water Ghost, and then you can make this guy. But Yaksha, he's also got 30 block. He drops off and loses his agility to get more stamina, so people like that, and he does have a nice little 1 SP heal. So honestly, if you want, you can get both, because sometimes having 2 tanks is important, especially if you're a DPS player. A tank in the front and a tank all the way in the furthest or the rear slot is a good way to go. And so you can just kind of swap these guys around back and forth. I might consider putting this guy in the back slot since he can heal other people, and since Geek can only heal himself with his leeching attack with that 2 SP ability, then I'd keep him in the front. But if he gets hit real hard, I can always swap them and let Yaksha take some hits. So that's tanking. That's like early game tanking. Come down here to Fairy. So I'll show him in a second, but in Zone 1, Dungeon 8, and in Zone 1, Dungeon 12, so by the time you are finishing Zone 1, you can farm this guy. And like I said before, once you capture one of these guys, the blueprint will start dropping. It will not drop until you have one of them. And you know what? Should I fuse it, you think? Get out of here. Alarm. Let's see. Should I fuse him? You know what? I can't teach you guys like that. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. So there you go. Click the button, put them together, you get the guy. I will devour these just to kind of show you the devour mechanic, but this guy's good. 15% damage. To my knowledge, damage bonus actually helps healing skills as well. So he'll hit harder because the damage will help his damage, but it'll also help his healing. So you have this nice heal all allies, and then a 2 SP attack furthest. Attack furthest is a great skill because typically tanks are in the front, and so the rear is the where you want to attack. He's very squishy, not a lot of health, but that means he's got a lot of offensive stats. And this guy, again, he carried me until around Zone 3. So there you go, easy peasy. And I will show the fusion. Not fusion, I'll show enhance. It is not required. You don't really have to stable anything. You don't really have to devour these guys. Devouring is permanent. So just let that resonate for a second. It's permanent. So once you put him in there, boom, he disappears from the list because I don't have an extra one, and we'll do Fairy as well. boom, because I don't anticipate using these guys for anything else. But now you'll see that he's got 3 stars, and on the top of him it says /3 out of 10. So I can stable this up to 10 times. You get around 2.5 more percentage total stats on the guy by doing that, and you can do it up to 10 times. And now, since you're only seeing 5 stars at the bottom, what happens is if you look over to Xeno, the stars will turn red. So once you get 5 in there and then you go to 6, you'll have 1 red star and the rest will be yellow. And this guy is 10 out of 10 because this is the reward that you get from passing each zone. So you can stable up your Xenos. There you go. You can stable them 10 times, and I hope I said it correctly, but the total bonus for stabling or devouring 10 times is 25% more total stats. So a green, which is Xeno, he has very close to the same, if not the same total stats as a legendary that is not a fusion, just a captured legendary. Hopefully that makes sense. As far as me, I really didn't use stabling except for Xeno because, again, you keep getting him every time you pass a zone, so he was kind of a freebie. I did this guy to +2. It wasn't necessary. I just kind of had them, so why not do it? And then here I'm just testing stuff. And then Fairy, I used Fairy, but I didn't stable him until now, but you guys just saw that. These guys are from the first raid. I kind of looked at the blueprints and I didn't see that these guys were used in anything that was super vital, and I had extra, so I stabled them up just to kind of help me out a little bit. But I want to caution you that devouring, it is permanent. So 2.5% increase for each devoured monster up to 25%. It's permanent. I don't know in the future if they're going to add some sort of option where you can, pay 800 gems and undevour all your guys, because it's going to feel really bad if you grind really hard, you get a legendary fusion, you devour 10 times, he's super strong, and then in the next update they come out and they release some new mythic fusion that uses the same guy. You're not going to want to go farm him 10 more times and do the whole thing over again. And your legendary +10 is going to be stronger than a new mythic +0. So I hope they add some sort of option that you can undevour in the future, but right now it's not really an issue. But I'd say don't really worry about it either way. So those are the blue guys I would suggest. If you don't want to do that, what you could do is, instead of fusing, is just capture these guys. So for example, Gopher, he's got a little triple damage bonus. He's got relatively offensive stats, but if you look down here, 2 SP, target enemy skill, that's pretty useful. If you don't want to go the route of using Geek and Fairy and maybe Yaksha, what you could do is just pick a handful of greens that you like, and you could stable these guys up all the way to +10, and that would actually get you through some content super quick and easy. Great free-to-play option. If you have some more resources, and also, no one's going to expect, if they go against you arena and they see Gopher, they're like, oh, this guy's a noob, his team is horrible, and then you one-shot him with a target ability, and he's like, oh, I'm just saying, you can surprise somebody. That is an option, so you could always just devour up greens super quick and easy. Or the other option, if you have more resources, what you could do is you could do kind of similar to what I did, and you could just stable these epics that you get from raid. Just stable up a ton, like for example Iron Ninja. Yes, Iron Ninja is used in other fusions, so you want to balance it out. You want to go for legendaries and things like that. Or if you want it quick and easy and dirty and you just want to kind of get through all the zones quickly, if you stable Iron Ninja up to +10, he is going to be a beast. He's going to have more stats than a legendary, and he's only going to be beat by a legendary fusion. Actually, I think a +10 might have more stats than a legendary fusion. We're eventually going to get up some sort of table that shows all the different stat percentages and whatnot, but that'll be in the Discord/wiki. By the way, we're working on a wiki, so we're going to get a wiki for the game going. But that would be, so those are your 3 options. I think 99% of players should go for Geek and go for Fairy and just go from that, and just when you get stuck, then start poking around and seeing what you got to do. If you want the quick and dirty, or you want a really quick way to kind of max out your 5-man team, you could stable up those greens, or you can just do just like that. So quick, easy, simple. We showed how the mechanics works. Don't stress about it. It's really not a big deal. If you have any questions, the fastest way to get a response by myself or smarter people than me, jump into the Discord. Link is always in the description. But there you go. As far as what I used for my team, you guys have kind of been seeing that. But let's just go here, and I'll just show a team real quick. Clear. So we can see a little bit of total stats. So obviously there's players in there. Pharaoh, is a fusion +0. Same thing with Pioneer and Deity, so they should have the same total. Xeno, just to show you the comparison, so just ignore the players here. Xeno is a green. He's not a fusion. He's just a green +10, and he is between the legendary Iron Scorpion. That's just a legendary that I captured. He is not a fusion. And then Deity and all the other guys are fusion. So I'm telling you, green +10 is actually rather strong. And you might think, oh, they only have 2 skills. But for example, when I put Xeno on my team, I only want him to heal. So the only way that he can use SP is heal. So he's forced to pump out a good amount of healing. So he gets the job done. I got no complaints. And you've seen me use him in flag videos and other content as well. Iron Scorpion, let's talk about bribes. I would not consider bribing anything in this game. You heard me, anything in this game. The only exception is Fatal Fearer, and he's so rare that I don't have him to show. But it's basically like a raid goblin situation. He's so rare. This guy, I got it with gold, super lucky. That kind of stuff never happens, and I might actually show the fusion of this guy in the future. But a little sneak peek on that is this guy's bad, and his fusion's also bad. But I might as well show it off, and then other stuff. So this is Epic. Lava is an Epic +2 or +3, I think it's +2. And then Iron Fist. I meant to show Iron Fist. Iron Fist is right around right around Zone 3. I think I picked up Iron Fist. Zone 3 or Zone 4. And he was an amazing off-tank. Quick, easy to make, good block. I think he had more block than I did half the time. His stats are nice and defensive. He can heal himself. He can attack target, which is great. And then he can even heal target as well. So let me go and show his schematic before I forget. But Iron Fist would definitely be the upgrade that I would go to after using Geek if you get stuck with him, or if you want Geek and another one. So let's go into Monster. Let's go to Fusion. Let's drop it to Epic. And let's find old Iron Fist. Where is he at? Hopefully I don't pass him and spend all day scrolling. There we go. Okay, Iron Fist. When you see this guy, the police dude, he is in Zone 5, Dungeon 12. So I guess you can't get him until Zone 5, so correct that. But also, see how it says Mech Police there and Iron Police there? Don't worry, they're the same guy. The name changes, not a big deal, just a little translation issue. But capture this guy in Holy Temples, Zone 5, the last dungeon, and over here, Raid 3 for Suture Monster. There you go, put them together, and you get, honestly, my favorite tank right now, as far as like the bang for the buck. I'm liking it. And other guys I liked as well. Moonlight was a good one, good DPS. So in 4-8, and then also in Raid 3. So you got some Raid 3 guys in there. What else is worth mentioning? 2 Headline. You get him also from Raid 3. He just, without fusing him, I probably won't make Chimera just because it's hard to get these components. But just using him on his own, he's got this, look at that juicy attack for this. It's a 2 SP, so it's going to hit harder. It's going to take more to cast this skill. It's going to take 2 SP. But, I mean, look at that. If you roll high on this thing, you're almost getting 500 times damage, so it's just really good. And you want to pack a lot of enemies on your team that attack furthest. My favorite, I'll get to that in a second. My favorite way to push through flags and kill bosses and things like that is to get a lot of DPS and healers on my team that can attack furthest. So that's going to be the easiest way to get through there. But what else? What else is worth mentioning? I like Final Mech. I think Moonlight was better than him, but sometimes I needed both on there. And he's also got, attack target at least. So he doesn't have attack furthest, but he's got attack target. And attack random hits pretty hard as well. I think that pretty much does it. By the time I got that deep in the zone, I was pretty set on what I was using. If these were easy to get and common, I would go catch this guy, and that means I would make this guy, just not because I'm suggesting him, but just to make the video for you guys and to test things out. And then I'll be making this guy. So Beam Mantas. I'm not a big fan on dodge tanks because 30% dodge is a 70% chance to just get completely wrecked. The only way that this works is if you have a lot of stamina, and that usually means you need a lot of healing, and nobody has a lot of healing right now. But closest enemy, These are two 1SP closest enemy attacks, but if you look at the damage, it's different. So this one has a wider range at the top and then a tighter range at the bottom from Fatal Hand Knife and Flame Master. It's kind of interesting to see that, but whatever. Then he's got a little heal. But for me, since I tank the front, I could replace Iron Golem with this guy and see which one I like better. Probably this one, and also it's just kind of appealing just to have all legendaries on your team and put the flex out there. But there you go. Don't like Alien Superman. Not a fan. And we're working on getting the other ones. So anyways, as always, appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.